Welcome back, everybody, to a new episode of the Bacon Decker Podcast. It's getting chilly out there, Tyler. Fall came and hit us real quick in the face.
Yes, yeah. Anybody familiar with Kentucky knows that the weather just drastically changed instantly, and then like tomorrow could be hot again. Who knows? Well, I guess the weatherman would know. But anyway,
he thinks he knows.
Yeah. You said it was like
58 degrees when I was driving over here.
I'm so excited because working in it is so much nicer compared to. I'm sure you are too driving. Like maybe not for the snow time, but at least for the middle weather time.
Yeah, when I was getting on and off the truck the past couple of days, it's been cooler in the morning. I'm just like, and it's got a breeze blowing. Oh, dude, going to work in the morning, I'm a little chilly, but I was like, I know I'm going to warm up, so I'm good,
I actually set the thermostat last night, so we're one of the families that has it at 68. It's always cold.
Yeah.
But I turned it up to 70 because I heard it's supposed to be chilly today. So I turned it up to 70. She freaked out. She's like, "Why are you putting it on 70?" I was like, "Well, it's supposed to be really cold tomorrow." And I woke up this morning to look at the thermostat. I was like, "It's chilly in here." And then the thermostat said 66. So it didn't even, I could have turned it off, honestly, because it never would have made it there. But
that's crazy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You can always tell it's getting close to wintertime in Kentucky because there's that certain smell in the air.
Yesterday was nice too. When I clocked out and was driving home, I had the windows down instead of the air on because it was just it's finally nice enough to have the windows down, that humidity.
Dude, I still get hot at work. I mean, I get off work and I still feel like it's hot.
Yeah, I sweat all the way up until I get home. Like, I get home, shower, and clean up, and then I usually cool off, and I feel relaxed. Other than that, I still feel like I'm in work mode. But obviously, I had the windows down. My hair didn't go everywhere because I finally got a haircut. Yeah. My first professional haircut since the quarantine. Yeah, I guess it was March, somewhere in March. I'd cut it off twice myself, and then Gabby lined it up for me in the backs where I couldn't see. But this was the first finally getting a professional haircut, and it has changed my entire demeanor as far as I just feel so much better with the haircut than without it. I don't know what it is about just that clean shave and the nice cut, but I feel great. I finally feel back to normal a little bit. I walked in and it was uneven. I don't know how it was uneven because I cut it with the razor or the trimmers,
the shears,
the same length all the way across, but it just become uneven as it grew out. And my barber's like, "I hadn't seen you in a while." I was like, "Yeah, it's been a while. I hadn't had a cut since the quarantine." He said, "Yeah, you look like a mess." I was like, "Thanks." Which I also had worked all day, so it wasn't like I had just woken up, taken a shower, and combed it.
Give me the benefit of the doubt, man.
Yeah. I was like, "That's why I'm coming to you. It's because I look like a mess."
Yeah, I'm working on this whole undercut thing right now. It just looks like a god-awful mess because this is my bed head and I don't do anything for it. That's why I'm wearing the hat. I've referenced that in prior episodes.
Almost every episode, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how many episodes you've been with a hat or without. It would be funny to compare just the difference.
Probably more so with the hat.
I think it's just a comfort measure for you.
I don't want to get up and do the work, And plus, my hair's just at an awkward length right now where it just doesn't do exactly what I want it to do, so I'm still messing with it.
Right.
I don't know if I'm going to keep it this long. I've been thinking recently I just might cut it shorter again. And
see, I'm torn because Gabby and I both like my hair longer and swoop to the side or whatever. But as far as working wise, I'm miserable because it's just hot. It's so hot. It's on my neck a lot, especially with the mask. I just can't breathe. I can't stand it.
Fade it. You can fade it more.
Yeah.
Get the skin fade. That's what I do normally.
And then keep it longer up top. See, I've thought about doing that, but I just feel like it would annoy me. So I've had this haircut for I don't know how long. I do a 2 and a 3 on the sides and a 4 on top and leave a little on the front. That's exactly what I tell them every time. It's very simple, but it's comfortable for me working wise, and that's what that's where I spend most of my time.
I mean, you could always bring back the mohawk.
She will not let me. She's the only one that is against the mohawk. Well, she's the only one honest enough to tell me that she's against the mohawk. I know a lot of people the mohawk was really cool, but work-wise, there's no way I could rock a mohawk.
Yeah, you couldn't get away with that. It's not professional.
Right. I don't want to hinder my job or my career just for a haircut. Now, if I blew up on YouTube or something, I didn't have to work anymore, I definitely would probably bring it back just to rock it.
Get the soap mohawk. Yeah, the long, skinny one.
Yeah, something I could actually manage a little bit better, where I wouldn't have to work a 40, 50-hour job a week would be fine.
Yeah, I don't know how or if they'll let me get away with the undercut. So I like wear the hat to work and everything, but...
Also, you have to keep yours a certain way?
Yeah, ours has to be a certain length too. It has to be professional in appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Like for men, it can't pass the middle of your ear, and it can't get below your eyebrows. It's like a whole roll thing.
Which most of y'all probably don't want it anyway.
But
like
if you style it a certain way, you can get away with it being as long as you want. It's just a matter of
and if you have a hat on.
I tuck it in the hat. So.
But well, we got some big news this week. I think we've been kind of keeping you guys out of the loop for a while, and I think it's time that we finally break the ice and let you guys know what has been going on. Next podcast, which will be, I'm gonna pull it out because if I don't, I'll
October
forget.
3rd.
The season 1 finale will be October 3rd. We decided to do these seasons for many reasons. More than anything, we just need some time to change some things with the setup. We're going to be moving the studio and all of the stuff somewhere else, nicer, neater, more efficient for us behind the scenes. So we need some time off to focus on that instead of focusing on making sure we get a time to film an episode. The season 2 premiere date will be November 7th. So we're actually taking almost a month off. The reason, personally for me, I probably will make a video for this channel in general, is I'm getting married. Like, the money that it takes to get married and which you're going to find out very, very soon if you haven't already. There's a lot of money that goes into it, and trying to push YouTube stuff and buying stuff for YouTube while she's focused on making sure the wedding and the honeymoon and everything goes well. I just need to make sure I'm focused on my personal life more in this time, and then come back after and go back to our routine.
Yeah.
Also, I will be getting a set schedule during the break. It's looking like maybe 2 weeks from now, I will have 2 days off in a row every week consistently. Like, I won't have change days off anymore. So that'll be nice. And when we come back for good after November 7th for season 2 of the podcast, I will have somewhat of a better schedule. And I think you're having a better schedule now too. You're kind of learning what days are going to be your
good
bad
days and bad days. Yeah, definitely. So
there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot we have written down here that we want to make sure we hit.
The Bro Down is coming back. The Bro Down will be our main source of content. I guess with that being said, there is a new channel.
We should start with that.
Yeah, we should start with that.
So what we're doing is we're going to enterprise this whole Bacon Decker podcast, and we're going to take it into the Bacon Decker channel. Mm-hmm. So that's where you'll find the podcast content and the Bro Down content. Mm-hmm. And that'll be, like you were saying, the primary source of the content on the channel will be the Bro Down, because the podcast will stay every other week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Bro Down will be the weekly content. Mm-hmm. We don't know exactly. We're still keeping ideas on what we want to do for the Bro Down each episode and things like that. But we want to try to make it a weekly content, and then the podcast is just the catch up of like us in the moment talking about our last 2 weeks, like every other 2 weeks. We're going to keep that. We really think that's the best option for the podcast because it gives us more time to really have some content to talk about, because I mean, we really don't live the most exciting lives. Like, we have things that happen, but they're exciting to us, but maybe not enough to talk about for 45 minutes or to an hour. Yeah. So,
we also will shift back to the more topic oriented podcast as well. Not saying, because you guys seem to like when we just kind of go into it, we don't have a set topic, but we'll still kind of keep something there.
Sometimes we want to talk about something. Sometimes there's a topic that we both are like, hey, we should do a topic on this, or it's like you being engaged. Like, it's a topip, honestly. Like, it's news, but it was also, we went back and talked about my engagement as well, and our engagement and marriage, or soon to be marriage. The new channel is Bake and Decker. What's the symbol for the and?
It's just an and symbol.
Is it an and symbol?
It's an and symbol.
I never know. I was not good at English.
I don't know if it has a special name, but...
See, that's what I thought it was a special name. Anyway, I will put it on the screen for the video file. I don't know if you can link it to the...
I can put the link
for
on
the podcast
or
anything.
podcast.
For the audio files. And then it's already up. It's made. It's got the same logo as our podcast has right now. We are looking into making a newer, prettier logo. But for the time being, I think for the season finale and the season premiere, it would probably remain the same. Just on our time that we have. That covered the weekly upload schedule. Like I said, the bro down is going to be the main thing. Personal reason, like I said, I'm getting married, you know, and I think both of us could use a break to take time to get the studio done. We will be doing behind the scenes of getting the studio changed for a bro down episode. Yep. So you guys will see what we're working with now and then what we'll be working with afterwards. And I think you guys will be really excited to see the difference. And just, I think it's cool to see what we're making use of right now. Mm-hmm. Like it looks like a lot, but really it's a very small confined space.
Yeah.
And with that being said, we have to move a lot of lights. We have to get the right camera angles for each episode. What you guys don't see is us struggling with the camera angle for 5 to 10 minutes. And like it's a little bit off to the left, a little bit off to the right. And it's something you guys probably wouldn't notice, but we do making it. And there's a lot of news that will come out throughout the season as we figure out what we want to do entirely. But as it's being said, that we are taking a break for about a month, and we're going to finish the season out. We didn't even know starting this thing that it was going to be a season, but we just thought to ourselves that a season sounded so cool to be like, hey, season 1 of the podcast, season 2, you know, down the road, if we do this for years and years to come for a podcast, we can look back and be like, you know, this was a season that we talked about a big moment. Or, you know, things are going to happen in our lives. Like there's going to be good weeks and bad weeks for both of us. So it's like last time when we talked about your engagement, it was a great week. I mean, there's going to be family members losses. There's going to be things that happen in our lives that is going to be tough to go through. Mm-hmm. And I think this has honestly been so therapeutic for me for sure. Just to sit down and talk and catch up, but also to really, we discussed a lot of stuff. The story of us, I think, was really awesome to start with. It turned into, I think, one of our favorite videos, but we'll touch more on that on the season finale of this season. But I feel like I'm rambling. I mean, is there anything you want to add to it as far as?
I mean, I think that at least covers the gist of it. You know, we really are trying to go bigger and better with this whole thing because, like you said, we enjoy doing it. And then also with kind of what you're trying to do on your personal YouTube channel with the Pokemon stuff and the pop figures. This kind of...
They kind of clash.
It kind of clashes. And your audience, the majority of your audience doesn't want to see this stuff, or if they do, you know...
I do have some that have converted as far as like they watch a certain video and now they watch both. So I appreciate everybody that's giving every video a chance. This is not for me. This is not the reason we're splitting the channel. Is not for my channel to grow a different way. I do want to take my channel in a different direction. I want to keep the Pokemon stuff and maybe some of the pop stuff as well. But I would like to do some vlogs with Gabby and like have like a just if we go to like our honeymoon, or I'd like to put our wedding. We have a videographer recording everything, so I'd like to take that file and just upload it for people to see. If there's anything we don't want, we just take it out. But I just want to share more of mine and her life experiences with, with others. I know my family would love to see more of us. She tried to do the YouTube stuff with hers. She just didn't have the time and dedication that it takes. I don't think she realized how much it took to edit videos. So she's okay with making videos with me, the ideas, and then I just edit them and upload them on my channel.
You do all the hard work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she loves the outcome and she likes trying new things. So, like, she would do, like, taste testings and stuff. We had snacking with the Deckers, and I think we'll probably implement it onto the channel.
Yeah.
But it's where we just try random foods and random things from places. And her and I think, are funny enough to make it work as a couple vlog kind of situation. So, yeah, that's the kind of direction I would like to take the Real Dexter channel. And then the Bacon Decker is also a part of the life. You know, we have the podcast and us hanging out, and it won't just be us. I think we will we definitely want to have guest stars. We don't have any lined up specifically yet as far as topics and the guest. I think both of us, if we have a guest, we want it to be driven towards the guest. Like we have them there for a reason. It's not about us talking about ourselves. It's almost like we would want to talk to them about why they're on the podcast with us.
Yeah, have a reason for them.
Yeah, if they have a business, if they have something, I think it would be cool to like push locally owned businesses.
Absolutely.
Like people, especially this year, the way the world is. I think it would be awesome to get people's, if they're doing something from the home now, if they're just starting a business up, I think it would be cool to talk about it, what they do, where they can go, if you're in the area or just in general. If you're thinking about starting a business, it would be cool to hear it from their perspective. But these are just things we've thought about. It's like we said, we have things going on in the background that we talk about before we record, after we record. The podcast itself, we just have ideas spinning and spinning and spinning. And I think moving the channel separately will give us that creative mindset to finally do that.
Definitely. And that's also what we're going for with reimagining the whole studio is and making it more of a creative space for us to go into, and now we can think, all right, well, we can do this and this, and it'll just bring up new ideas.
And for both of us too, because right now, I mean, the studio's at my house, so you drive here and then you have like my setup and stuff for the Pokemon stuff, and my stuff that I have here already, as like my man cave area is really what it is. But going forward, we want to give Baker a space down here as his studio to like where he feels at home as well. So it's more of a cooperative scenario compared to where you just show up and we film and then you leave. We don't want that. We want it to be a more co-owned, I guess.
Yeah, our space.
Yeah.
Not one
not
of the
you
other.
just
And
showing
that's
up
not
one of
saying like
Maybe the same way as if I went to your apartment and we tried to do a video there, I would feel more out of place because I'm just not used to being there. So we want to make it to where like he has his own space, that it's where his stuff is, and I have my stuff, and then we kind of work together on ideas, drawing boards and whatnot to come up with stuff. So I'm excited for the break because of what's to come. I'm excited for the coming back and having that set schedule for work, and then us getting the new studio. I'm super excited. I can't wait to do the behind the scenes episode for that.
Yeah, that's going to look incredible. There's a lot of work that's going to happen. You guys are going to be quite blown away, I think.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it doesn't look like much. It's not going to be... its current state is not a good state. So we're going to clean it up and, touch it up and move a lot of things, get a lot of equipment moved around. And I think overall it'll just be an awesome video. Yeah. We'll do like a time lapse, being very neat. So
kind of like how they do on like those home improvement shows.
Yeah. Or we could just do the pan over where it's like
the fade.
And then it fades back to the new one right after. Yeah. We'll see what we can do. We've got some really good cameras now as far as the podcast goes, and this camera that you guys are watching now will be the one we use for the bro down, especially starting off. We're looking into a different camera
for the podcast.
We
run later.
Yeah.
Like the camera we use right now kind of...
even if it's a new GoPro, I think would be okay. If we get a new GoPro, we could use it for the bro down and the podcast because it would run longer. I really think it's just the GoPros I have. I think they're just old. Because I can't find any info on like the 7 or 8 having the issues. Yeah. So I think if I just got a new GoPro, it would be fine. And that could run for an hour long. And the new ones look a lot better too. The one I have is not as clear a picture. And it won't be as clear as this one, but the video file for a podcast, a lot of people watch it, but a lot of people really listen to it as well. They just like having the visual aspect as well. Because when the camera cuts out, I've been doing just the logo, and then people said, I still listen, and then it comes back, and it's all good. Like, they don't really think of it as an eyesore or a pain. Yeah. But we do. We don't like that in-between cut.
Yeah, that whole hassle.
Me having to get up and
change it, and extra editing.
When it goes off, then it's like we kind of lose our train of thought because we're worried about making sure things... Because if I hit the camera wrong, then it's going to change everything.
Change the angle, and then he's going to sit there for 5 minutes. Yeah.
But this is reasons we're very hard on ourselves more than anything. It's not like you guys have been complaining about a lot of things, but we want to do better for you guys.
Yeah. We're just self-critical people.
Yes. Yeah.
Very self-critical. But yeah, so definitely looking forward to kind of getting all that started. It's almost like we just want to hurry up and get it here so that we can do all of it, and then we can,
put it into action.
The new stuff. Yeah. And it kind of sucks, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, we want to get there. And
yeah. And, I mean, I've been worried about taking a break. I mean, that's a long break as far as a month off. But I think overall, like I said, the personal reasons, there's no way I'm going to be able to film the week before, the week after. Water.
The week of or the week
The week after, the week of. Obviously, there'll be a honeymoon after. We're going to go to Florida. I would like to film, the honeymoon as far as going to the beach and seeing how the world is there as far as just, I don't know, spending time together. If we'd maybe do a couple videos for me and her there of trying new things. So just having the experience captured. There's no way I can focus on a podcast then or even bro down stuff beforehand. I've just got to put all my money in and focus into getting married. So, and it's just, I think everybody will understand that as far as like being off for almost a month. And the Pokemon stuff. I mean, I might lose some, but I'll keep the ones that are going to come back, Yeah. So those are the ones that matter to me. If they unsubscribe after not posting for 3 weeks, they probably weren't going to stick around in the long run anyway. So, but I do appreciate everybody that watches everything so far. Obviously, if you don't watch both and you go to the podcast, it's not going to hurt my feelings. That's a big reason we want to do it, so we can see who we're really talking to week to week or every other week on the podcast and then the Bro Down. If you're here for us, go to the Bacon Decker podcast or the Bacon Decker channel to watch that stuff. You don't have to subscribe to me. That, it's not going to, it's us. That's what we want to have. And if you're here for the Pokemon stuff, then you can stay here and you don't have to go subscribe to the other one. That's completely up to y'all.
We're not necessarily pushing one or the other. We just want to make sure like the audience is getting what they want. Because some people, I know, they'll get a video notification. It won't be the one they want to watch.
Right.
Just scroll to the side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my grandparents, they watch, just for an example, my grandparents watch the podcast. They don't watch the Pokemon stuff. That's a given. They're like, well, I don't watch those, but I really like the podcast. I'm like, that's fine. I don't have no problem with, I like the criticism of knowing, like, well, I watch these, I don't watch these. I just don't know about it. So I'm a geek at heart, like a nerd, whatever you want to call it. Collecting figures and Pokemon cards, I didn't expect to be my highlight goal hobby of 2020, 2019, but it's turned into that way. And then obviously I still play games. With me having a set schedule, the streams will come back. Oh, there's the camera going.
There it went.
Just keep that one running.
Yeah.
That's the only way we don't have a timer or anything to keep up with the overall podcast time. So we keep the audio file running more or less to
kind of keep our time mark or whatever you want to call it. See, there's that train of thought going.
Yeah, it's just
like short-term memory you could ever think a human being has.
I felt like this was going to be a shorter podcast anyway, though, because we weren't really sure what to say on camera and to leave as a surprise factor for the new channel and the break. But we're super excited for that. I guess we can kind of just cut into the past 2 weeks. Have you done anything crazy, or it's just been mainly working, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm still qualifying for the driving position at UPS. So just here in the past week, I've been actually making time that, not working over what I should be working, Because basically what they do is they give you a 9.5 hour day with an hour break included, right? Once you're a driver, you don't have to take that whole break if you don't want to.
Gotcha.
But as a qualifying driver, you have to take that whole break. So up until this past week, I was going over because of that break, basically. But now I've kind of got a schedule in my head every day of where I'm supposed to be at and where I can take my break at, And it changes a little bit, but it's usually around the same time. It's after I've completed so many, stops or whatever.
So you pretty much have the same stops weekly? Or are they like certain days?
So it really depends. The residential stops, they're going to vary all the time.
I didn't know if you had a lot of residential or if you had mainly businesses.
Honestly, I'd say it's about 50-50. The businesses, I have a lot of businesses, and I usually take care of those in the morning. But, because, of course, most of the businesses, they'll cut out for lunch at noon, and they'll be gone till 1. So it's kind of like, all right, well, I can't catch them in between those hours, so I got to come back if I don't catch them before then,
Gotcha.
So it's all about, keeping the pace and trying to stay ahead of the game. And, you're always thinking. You're always thinking 2, 3, 4, 5 stops, in advance. Like, all right, I'm going to hit here, then here, then here, then here. So it really is a thinking man's game. And coming from the outside, going in is like, you wouldn't think it's as complicated as it is. And it's not once you get the hang of it.
Right.
But when you're first learning...
Yeah, you're thrown into it.
Yeah. You think it's easy, and it's not easy.
I'm lucky enough not to have that experience just because I went from store management, running a store, to running just a couple of hours at Clark for Coca-Cola, and then going to Pepsi. So it's pretty much the same concept. You have product, you have to rotate the product, you have to make sure the product looks presentable, and then if you have something new, you have to like fit it in somewhere. But that's really it. So it's been consecutive for me. So but I remember at Sable when I first started how much I was like, you have to do all this to run a store, the management side of things. So I get what you're saying there as far as not knowing just how much it goes into planning, especially a day like that. I would have a heart attack, I think, trying to plan a day out of packages that change every day, not having that set schedule. So like at Pepsi, I'm going to have a certain store I go to every morning first off, and that's how my day's going to start. So I don't have like that differential factor of do I stop here this day or do I stop here? Like,
well, you kind of do because you don't always go to the exact same store, right? You go to a different store.
I won't. I'll start at the same.
Because you're getting a route. That's right.
Once I have a route, I'll start at the same store. But afterwards, it'll be different. But I think me starting at the same store every morning will help me tremendously.
Routine is our thing, man. And that is, so the businesses I do deliver to, I deliver to the same businesses. So no matter what, especially, I know I'm going to have these certain businesses every single day. It doesn't matter. Car dealerships, get them every day.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. So that kind of helps me, and I always run them the same way, So
you have somewhat of a routine.
Yeah, somewhat of a routine. You know how you're going to run things, and if there's the best way to run it, you want to run it that way. So
and learn
the drivers that actually do the route, that I'm training on, they'll tell me, hey, you need to do it like this because this is the best way, or like I do it like this because this helps me. And no one driver runs everything exactly the same.
Yeah, everybody does things differently.
But because everybody's head works a little different, and if it works for you, it works for you, and it might not work for somebody else. But yeah, it's definitely a thinking man's game. And you would think, like, as a driver, how you drive the car is really the ticket to, being quick, and it's not. The key, at least that I've found, is having your packages easily accessible in the back, right up front that you can get to them so you don't have to travel far into the vehicle. And then the pace that you walk to and from the stop. That
the foot traffic.
Oh man, you gotta be quick. If you see any UPS drivers out there moving, you'll they're moving.
Yeah, I mean most of the time you see them and you're like, oh, the UPS guy's here, and then like you look back and the truck's gone.
Yeah,
there's no.
Where'd he go?
Well, he's already been here. That's just how quick they are to. They come in, drop it off, scan it, and move on. Like there's not a.
I had one guy come out of his house and he's like, I finally caught you. I was like, yeah. I mean, we're in and out. Yeah. Which, it's surprising that a lot of people don't catch us because I'd say 99% of us, we honk our horn as soon as we pull up to the stop, and we honk when we leave. So it's
Can you imagine though, like bigger cities, like Bowling Green's big, but I couldn't imagine like New
Lexington,
York or
Louisville, New
Chicago,
York City,
anywhere
Chicago.
like that. Which I think maybe they have more drop boxes, don't they? They probably don't have as much leave stuff on the porch, probably.
Well, it depends. It really depends because.
Well, I'm just saying, like in New York, if you have like skyscrapers, there's got to be a place to drop them.
You would deliver it probably to like the front office, I would imagine.
Yeah, and then they would have to come pick it up there.
Because what we do at some of these businesses is we just take it to the reception desk, and the receptionist takes.
It probably might be easier because you'd have all these people in this one skyscraper, and there'd be like one address for all of them. You just like shove it on, and then like they would separate it. I'm assuming.
And then we of course have like the access points. All over town at like the pharmacies, and there's some at like gas stations and stuff. But access points are where if somebody isn't there to receive the package, you basically just say, hey, all right, it's going to be located at this access point. Just go pick it up. Here's the door number. You scan a code. it's a whole thing, but that makes it easier for people who, instead of having to wait for it to come the next day,
Right.
they'll just get a notification saying, hey, you can pick it up here after this time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so then they can just be like, okay, well, at their end of their work day, they'll drive over there and grab it. You know, that saves them the trouble of having to go wait for it the next day.
Right. I really haven't had much change other than work-wise. Like I said, I am getting a set schedule. Somebody's leaving, so that opens up a spot for a set route for somebody else, and then it's all
Their
based off
route,
seniority. Yeah. So I'm super excited. I don't really care what route I have. I'm just glad for the consistency and knowing what days I'm going to be off. I think would help me mentally as far as planning things out, whether it be for YouTube or personal reasons. Like if I just need to go to the bank or I need to go get an oil change,
Doctor.
I know what day I can go. Yeah, you say doctor. You guys can probably obviously tell I sound different. Terrible allergies, sinuses. I got sick last week. I thought I was a little fatigued, and I had a sniffle nose and a cough, and I was like, "This is it. I've got the Rona." Like that's. But I loaded up on Sudafed and some Dayquil, and by the end of the day, I felt better than I did the morning of, and that's when I realized I was like, it's probably just sinuses, just allergies, because it is that time of fall season, like it's changing.
Yeah. People are usually one or the other too. They're either springtime allergies or fall allergies. You know?
Well, and with the temperature change too, like today, that's probably what's really got it. Because yesterday it was very cool outside, even like at 2:00 or 2:30 when I was leaving going home. It was I was like, man, it's just really nice out. But I think it has messed me up completely because I woke up this morning just could not breathe out of one nostril, and the other one's just running like a river, and then just the cough. I've got a really deep cough anyway. They call it smoker's cough, but I've smoked maybe 5 cigarettes in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I've always had a deep cough. Which they said my mom said I had bronchitis when I was younger. I don't know any of the medical terms or anything like that, but I supposedly had bronchitis when I was younger. I had pneumonia a lot, so I think it's just my lungs are a little bit damaged.
Did your mom smoke?
No, she never did.
Anybody you grew up with smoke?
My family's definitely had smokers in it, and I've been around smokers. But
yeah, if you're around smokers, especially as a kid, that makes you more susceptible to pneumonia and stuff like that. So,
but no, my parents didn't smoke. My grandparents did, but they quit once we were born. But then
that's right, because they ran that little tobacco shop.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, and so if you're a smoker, you know it's hard. I mean, you used to smoke, so like quitting is not as easy as it sounds. So they quit for us and then turn around and go back to work, and you got all these smokers coming in buying cigarettes. It's right there in front of you. I don't know how they went for as long as they did, and they didn't. They just didn't smoke around us. Yeah. Once we got older, I would go out, like I would step out on the deck, and my grandma would be smoking a cigarette and be like, "I didn't know you still smoke." She goes, "Oh no, I don't. It's just now that I'm really older, I'm like, she went out there and smoked all the time.
Yeah.
I
I just never caught her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely. It was hard. Probably not as hard as it was for most people because it took me, 2 tries to quit. Because I quit once when I was leaving Okinawa. I was like, all right, this is my last cigarette. And of course, I was still using the vape to kind of wean myself off.
But then you went into that single life after getting out.
When I got out of Okinawa and I was in my, they call it like a, it's a platoon where you're just waiting to get out, basically. Okay. I can't remember what it's called.
I definitely don't know. So.
Yeah. I don't know why I asked you. But yeah.
You're looking at me for vocabulary that I don't have.
Oh, SEP's platoon. Duh. So you're waiting to get separated.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Separation platoon. But anyway, so while I was sitting in there waiting, I was just like, man, I'm bored. And, everybody would be like, you know what? This is really boring here. And I was like, do you guys just want to... I'll go buy a pack of cigarettes. You want to go and smoke? And so it got me back into the habit of just being bored. And, that's kind of how I interacted socially was you went to the smoke pit and you talked to people in the smoke pit. Because there's only designated smoking areas on the base. You can't smoke anywhere.
And, I mean, when you come back, too, you go out to the bars and stuff. And then, hey, you want to go for a smoke? No, I don't smoke anymore. You're one answer away from, I'll go out and smoke real quick. Yeah. Especially once you get some alcohol in the system. You're like, cigarette sounds good right about now.
My dad smoked at the time when I got back home, so I would go smoke with him, and then, like you said, when I go out to bars and I drink, you just want to smoke so bad. So
that's when I've smoked my cigarettes, is when I've been completely drunk, and I'm like, you know what, cigarette sounds good right about now. I never smoked cigarettes or anything like that growing up. But so now I've smoked maybe 5 to 10 cigarettes in my lifetime, all been from drunken occurrences. But I'll catch myself driving home some days. I'm like, I just want a cigarette. I mean, I've had 10. I mean, it is something different. I don't know what if
it's in your brain now.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the action of it, having it, or if it's really the nicotine, like it's like a stress reliever almost. And I think that's why a lot of people smoke, is they use it as a reason to go out, take a breath, breathe, think about what they're doing, and then they go back to work or whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, the nicotine, yeah, you get like those little withdrawals, like you get like a headache or something, but it is nothing terrible. What it is for me at least, it was the habit. So just, all right, in the morning I smoke a cigarette, and then in the middle of the day, around the same time, my master sergeant would be like, hey, Baker, let's go smoke. I'm like, all right, master sergeant.
Yeah.
Walk downstairs and we all go, and that was just what we did. And, it was a time to, all right, we can cut out from work and kind of just go outside, take a break, and cut up a little bit. Yeah. And I think that was the addictive part. It wasn't so much so the nicotine or whatever.
Right.
It was just that. Because there was happy feelings associated with it.
Yeah. I mean, that's like I said, I've smoked some in my time, and it's definitely the action. I don't know, it's just relaxing. And then those drive homes when I'm stressed out from work or something, not Pepsi, but when I was at Clark, there's many days I was like, I don't even know what cigarette to buy, but I'm going to buy one. But I never did. But I had that thought, for me to only smoke 5 or 10, to have the thought to buy a pack of cigarettes and smoke one because I've had a bad day. I think it's just because of the bad day stress. There's many times when I would buy a fifth of some kind of alcohol. It's still sitting upstairs. I bought a fifth of Jim Beam honey. I was like, you know what? I used to drink Jack, and then I tried the Jack Daniels with honey. I liked it a lot, but the Jack Daniels aftertaste for me, I got away from it. I just, but I got Jim Beam. It's very smooth, very sweet. I took one shot, I think, 4 weeks after I got it. I brought it home and never drank it. I just sat it in the fridge and in the freezer, and I never drank any of it. But it was that thought of, I just want to drink. But then I got home and I forgot about work and I didn't want to drink anymore. So I think mine's a lot of, I'm just trying to get away from the work part.
That's how it is.
But Pepsi, I haven't had that issue as far as I've had busy days and long days, but I haven't had a day where I hated my job yet. And I'm so happy for that. I'm happy that I've gotten to a job that even if I work 12, 14 hours a day, if everything has gone wrong, at the end of the day, I'm still happy with what I got paid for, and I'm happy with the job that I'm doing. I don't know if you feel that way with UPS. I know you've had some bad days.
Yeah, on the bad days, I absolutely think 100% about, I just need a cigarette. But, of course, like you said, when you get home and you're done with it.
You leave it.
Yeah. And that is a good thing about working at UPS, especially as a driver, is you just leave it at the door.
And that's the way with us. I mean, you fill the store up and you go home. There's not a take-home factor. It's like you do your job. You clean the shelves if you have free time. Rotate out product if you have extra time that you haven't rotated out maybe every single time. And then you just make sure your stuff looks good, and then you go home. There's nobody's going to call at 6 o'clock and be like, did you not run the store at 4:30 when you left or whatever? It's you work it and you go home. You make sure you do your job.
Yeah.
And there's no problem with me as far as they know I'm going to do my job and go home. There's not going to be an issue at my stores compared to some guys. They want to go in, look at the store, and then leave and not fill it up. And if you're going to walk in and do it, I just have a mentality to go in and do my job.
Yeah. So. I'm there, and that's what I would do when I was loading the trucks instead of driving. It was just all right, I'm gonna work every day. I was like, I don't care what's going on. I'm here to work and I'm gonna do my best, And that's the kind of attitude I tried to tell everybody else to have is, you have to come in anyway, And if you're not coming in, you're probably not gonna be there too much longer,
right? I mean, you got to pay bills. That's how I've always thought about it. You've got to work and make money to support your lifestyle.
I don't know about you, but I feel like crap some of the days. The weekend's a little different because then I have...
where you're off.
Yeah. But if, you have an unexpected day off in the middle of the week and you sit there and you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And
even though I enjoy video games, there's days when I play for, too long, and I'm like, I've literally sat here and done nothing all day.
Yeah.
And
I feel
miserable.
Awful. Yeah.
I'm like, man, I could have done this. I could have done that. I should have went for a walk. I should have done something here at the house. more productive.
And I'll tell you what, something I've realized since I started driving is time is starting to move slower for me. Is because every second when you're driving matters. So when I sit there now and I'm just like, I can do so much in a day.
Yeah, you start cutting it up. Like I used to do that at Clark when I was working. I'd be like, well, I'll be here until this amount of time, and then after this I go to here, and then if I don't do it this fast, and I'll have extra time. Like you start to think of how much you can get done throughout the day. Like how much is 10 minutes really, you know? Or how much is a minute? Yeah, it's once you have a work schedule, you realize how much you actually got done in a day compared to you sit at home and you watch an episode of Netflix and you're like, an hour? It's been an hour? Like you just like that. Whereas at work you're like, well, I would have gotten here, here, and here on your route, or I would have been like, well, I've gotten this much done, this many pallets done.
Yeah, like I know there's like this one neighborhood I deliver to. I can deliver that thing in 20 to 30 minutes. You know, depending on how many people ordered stuff. But it's just like that. And so now I get up early in the morning and I'm full of energy, and so Krista, she likes to lay in bed, and just kind of be real slow in the mornings. And I've never been like that. I've always been a morning person. But she just takes forever to get up. And I'm like, let's go. It's time to get up and do something, you know.
Gabby's definitely not a morning person. I'm definitely more of the morning person. But it's changed here recently. Since I've started at Pepsi, I stayed up till like 1:30 last night playing Xbox with my brother and one of my other friends. And we played all night, and then I went upstairs, went to bed. I could have stayed up all night, though. And before, I was so tired. As soon as I got home, I was ready to go to bed when I worked at Clark. And even saved a lot. I just didn't have any kind of drive to want to do something after work. With this job, working an 8-hour shift, sometimes 10, sometimes 12, those days I still come home. I still have energy. Like, it's not a run you into the ground job. So it's nice to be able to come home less. I mean, I got up at 5 o'clock yesterday, and I stayed up till 1 o'clock the next day. So, I mean, that's not late for some people, but to me, that's late. Normally, if I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm usually in bed 9 to 10 o'clock at night. There's no staying up till 12, even 1. That was nuts to me. Of course, she fell asleep upstairs watching TV while I was playing Xbox, so I had to get up there and tell her, come on, get to bed. So, but we both enjoyed, it's nice to be able to enjoy things separately. So, like, she knew that I wanted to play Xbox and kind of just enjoy this is my last weekend. This is my last Saturday, Sunday off for years, probably. I'll be off next Saturday, and then that Sunday I'll start merchandising instead of helping the drivers. So, this Saturday, Sunday, I think mentally, I'm just trying to enjoy, like you said, every minute. What can I do every minute of my day this week and to enjoy my last Saturday, Sunday off? And most of it's just relax. Like, just breathe in, take it easy, and, go back to work this last week. And then I'll have one day off, and then I'll go back to my work week, which I think I'm going to be off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, Friday. Those are the days I've heard as far as my consecutive days off. So if it is Monday, Tuesday, then I'll be off Saturday, work Sunday, and then be off Monday, Tuesday again, and then I'll go to my regular work week. Yeah. So it's weird, but at the same time, I'll be off here soon anyway for the honeymoon and wedding. We get paid for sick days. I don't know if you get sick days or anything like that.
I couldn't tell you.
We get 6 sick days a year, I believe. I've never been sick 6 days in my life in a year. So.
And even if I am, I'm probably going to work.
Yeah. Well, now if I've got a fever,
now we can't. But
if I've got a fever or I'm vomiting, I'm staying home, or I'm going to the hospital because I feel like I might have something else at this time of the year. But before I just toughed it out. But so we get 6 sick days, and that will be used for the wedding and the honeymoon this year, and then next year I'll get 6 again. And if I don't use them, I get paid for them.
What about your vacation?
Yeah, you get vacation time after a year. So I don't have vacation time this year until I'm there
it's
a
the
year.
Same for me. I should be eligible for vacation time coming up here.
So I think it's a week. I think I get a week. And I think I get a week for many years. I don't think I get 2 for quite a while, which is fine. 1 week a year, you have one big trip. I mean, this year, obviously, I wouldn't go anywhere anyway. Next year, maybe we book a cruise or some kind of trip that we want to do. We love the cruise. I think about, she asked me, I don't know, it was our anniversary. That's what happened. That's why we didn't record last week.
Yeah.
I forgot to even mention it. But we had her birthday on 9/11, and then our anniversary was 9/12, of 2 years being of dating. But we were driving home from the dinner on our anniversary, and she's like, "What's your favorite memory of us?" I was like, "It's definitely the cruise. Like this, the vibe of the cruise, of us just being in that lovey-dovey stage and not knowing each other. I mean, we've known each other for I think 3 or 4 weeks. Like it wasn't long at all. And then just the moments that we had on the cruise, as far as like just spending time together. There's nights where her family went and did something, and then me and her were in New Orleans before the cruise. We went to New Orleans. That's where we left out of. It's nights where we just went to the casino, and then we went to dinner, or vice versa. We went to dinner, and then the casino, and those are the memories I think I will hold as my favorites. As far as just, I don't know. She's great. I don't have any complaints. I mean, everybody gets in spats and arguments, but there's not a moment that I would want to do it with anybody else. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, probably with Krista.
Yeah.
As far as there's going to be problems, but nothing you can't overcome.
Yeah, you just kind of. Well, yeah. I mean, she doesn't get over it the same way I do, which has been a struggle for us. But
well, I mean, we have the same thing. I think girls and guys react differently. So like they see everything differently, in my opinion, as far as like how they perceive your wording and your actions. You might shrug it off and think it's nothing, and where it'd be a huge deal to them, vice versa. You know, something that's a big deal to them that you don't care about. So, but yeah, it was nice. We went to Gondoliers, which is in Glasgow. The reason we went to Gondoliers is because LS Fest was actually in Bowling Green the same weekend, which is the biggest event that Beach Bend holds here in Kentucky, or in Bowling Green, every year. I didn't even know it was going on this year.
Yeah.
I thought it was canceled, like all the other events.
The only reason I knew is because Hunter had like said he's going.
Right.
And
yeah.
I was like, oh.
But there goes the camera.
There it goes again.
We actually have hit the second mark. I think did we only hit 2 last time? It was very shortly after, I believe.
Yeah, because we only had the ending here.
Yeah, it was very quick because I was like editing. I was like, why is this file like 2 minutes? And then I realized why, because it was the actual ending. But yeah, so everything was packed in Bowling Green for LS Fest. Well, LS Fest got canceled Saturday because it came an absolute monsoon. So we went to dinner, and all the places on Scottsville Road had like an hour to 2 hour wait time. And we're like, man, this is ridiculous. We just want to have dinner for 2 people. She's like, well, we just go to Glasgow. Let's go to Colton's. You know, that's where our first date was, at Colton's. We went to Colton Steakhouse. We talked for 3 hours there, and then we talked for an hour in the parking lot. Like, it was just, we hit off right off the bat. But I was like, sure, call. And she was like, well, she called them, and she goes, it should be maybe 45 minutes. Well, it'll take 30 minutes to drive to Glasgow. So maybe in 30 minutes, their wait time's 15 minutes. You know what I mean? It would slow down. Because it was later in the night. And we were driving in. She's like, well, let's call Gondoliers because it's closer. We don't have to drive as far into Glasgow. It's right off the exit. Yeah. And plus, they have some really good desserts. They have the best chocolate chip cheesecake that I've ever had. And it's huge. It's like $7.50 for a slice. But I mean, it's a couple inches thick as far as of the consistency. And I mean, it is amazing. It's the best chocolate chip cheesecake. She gets they have regular cake as well. She gets it's a $1 million cake. It's like it's got cheesecake in it and then regular cake as well. It's just like a mix of everything. But it was good. The food's not the best as far as I hope Gondoliers doesn't ever watch this and get mad, but the food wasn't the best as far as Italian food goes. Like, I wish they could get a collaboration with Olive Garden. Have Olive Garden's Italian food, and then have their dessert would be the perfect match. Which we used to have one here in Bowling Green, and I guess it went away.
It closed out.
Actually, I never had that one. I just had the one in Glasgow with her.
That's the only one. No, I've been to both. I've been to the one in Glasgow, and I've been to the one here in Bowling Green. She
wasn't happy with the food. Now, I am happy with my food that I get there because I've gotten it. I'm not the kind of person that gets a different meal every time I go to a restaurant I like. When I go to a restaurant I like, I know what I go to that restaurant for. So with Gondoliers, I love their calzones. They have their chicken calzone is my favorite. The chicken in it's like cooked. It's really good, and the cheese that they put in it But I got the steak and cheese one this time that had like a, I don't even know what kind of steak, like what you would call the steak meat, but almost like a Philly cheese steak meat,
Okay.
like
Shredded beef?
shredded, yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, that was the kind of meat that was on the...
Chop steak.
Yeah, chop steak. So it was good, but I like the chicken version a lot better. Mm-hmm. And so she was like, well, I just don't really like this. And I was like, well, mine's great. I'm going to take half of it home. I'm going to take my cheesecake home. And then the plan was to watch movies that night. We stayed up until, I want to say 5 o'clock that morning. Like, we just stayed up all night because it was a weekend off together.
Yeah.
So, but I'm rambling. I feel like I'm rambling about it, but it was a good weekend. And honestly, it's been a good 2 weeks, like since our last podcast.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was nice not having to focus on doing another one the week of, like feeling like I had something to do.
Yeah, pressure.
And then I really did take into account like what I did throughout the week that I could talk about. And then the only thing I really had on my mind was the season finale. I've been in stores. I've been like jotting down like ideas of like, oh, we could do this, we could do that for the new studio or new setup.
I was thinking about new ideas for other stuff to put on the new channel too, besides just what we've already got planned.
Right, just the bro down and the podcast, because sometimes there might be weeks we might not be able to get together as often or as in depth as we would like as far as a bro down episode. So we would have to plan something else. So that's what he's meaning by like we want weekly content. We don't want the channel to be like a podcast every 2 weeks and there's not a bro down in between that.
Yeah, we want different stuff on there. And the more stuff we can put on there, the better.
Yeah. And the more we can grow as a channel. We don't spend as much time together as we want to either. That's the issue. We had this whole idea of like, hey, we can do this, but that was when you were off early and I was off those days and it worked out perfectly. And then now
we
things
just hang out
changed.
all day together.
Yeah.
Now we can't do that.
So we had a blast with the bro down stuff. The way we changed it to where it's not just not necessarily just us or just doing some kind of insane challenge. It turned into us just hanging out. So like the Chick-fil-A and Popeyes thing turned out great. We have a lot of ideas for food versions of that and also drink versions and just in general some like tastings I think would be hilarious and fun. And then along with that, like other things if we go somewhere together and do something crazy. Like even if we just went and played airsoft on a Saturday, that would be a bro down. I think would be funny to like get a couple GoPros, put on our helmets, and then actually go and play airsoft a couple times throughout the year would be fun. And then bring people along with us, where it's just not just us. Especially now with us. I mean, you always have been physical, but now that I'm doing the physical work as well, I feel like I would have a lot more fun than back then. I wanted to play airsoft, but then I sat at home and played Xbox all day long, all throughout the week, so I didn't really have the physical activity to play airsoft. There was many times when we were playing, I'm like, I'm gonna die out here. Like, I can't breathe. I'm smothering to death. It's hot out here, and I couldn't stand it. Your birthday, that's I think the first birthday at Black Site Milsim, where it was all uphill. I went up that hill one time. I was like, I can't die down there again and come back up.
I'm not going down.
Yeah, I was like, y'all have fun. I'm out. And that was like I realized it's like, well, from now on, if I go play, I've got to make sure it's a place that I enjoy playing at. And that's when we really just played
at my pastor's woods back there. And then
because it was really more of a hangout thing. We weren't really there.
Yeah, we played airsoft, but it was more or less just we liked hanging out with each other.
Yeah, it was more or less. It was better than sitting and playing Xbox at the house. So if we were gonna hang out together,
we're playing Call of Duty in real life. All right,
yeah,
that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
you know.
Now, what more could you ask for?
You want to talk about VR?
So yeah, I mean, down the road we might get a couple cameras and do stuff like that.
Yeah, I know some. The old guys, they all want to go and do it again. So. We'll do something, I'm sure.
Yeah, because we'll catch up and we're like, man, you remember when we played airsoft?
We do it anytime soon.
Yeah. I don't know if we're ready for that again. I think we're both old men at that point. They're like, you know what?
Our bones don't move like that anymore.
I go up steps and my knees creak, so I know something's wrong. Like, it's a matter of time. Ever seen that post circling Facebook says, I'm 22, my knees 60 or like 33, my back's 37, and my joint, or I don't know, it's like several...
Yeah, different joints. And
I can't relate to more of a truer statement than that.
Yeah, I mean, that is... Yeah.
So, no podcast next week. Like I said, every other week. So, you guys will have to, like, keep up with your calendars, I guess, in a way to... If you see one on a Saturday, you're not going to see one.
If you click that bell, you'll get a notification.
Yeah. If you hit the bell, you'll know. And like that's the big thing with the new channel. If you click the bell on Bacon Decker, if you're there for us, that's what you're going to see.
Yeah,
you're not going to see. You're not going to see a Pokemon video or a pop collection video. It'll be us, and I think that would be really neat.
Podcast, bro down, whatever else is on there.
If we just get on there and do a Q&A or something, like maybe on a live stream or something, like it just we want to try different things to build like a friendship channel and not, like I said, not just us. If we go hang out with somebody else that we know, and then just collaborate with them compared to just us. But so no podcast next week. The season finale will be October 3rd. We're both super excited for that, and we've been rambling for almost an hour. I almost thought that it was going to be a short video, and then we get to talking. Yeah. Like in that middle breach, we like
when we find a topic or an area where we want to talk, we jump right in. So
because you don't have the view I have. From my view, I see the camera, like the computer,
the counter.
Yeah, the counter. I'm like 57 minutes already. This is unedited, obviously, but yeah.
So we're definitely needing to wrap up here, but thank you guys for listening.
Thanks for sticking around for season 1. We don't have anything to compensate or commemorate you guys for watching all of season 1, but maybe we'll figure something out in the long run.
There's still another episode.
There's still another episode. So you guys can give yourself a good pat on the back. Like, thanks for listening to two guys ramble for 45 minutes to an hour.
Or longer in the earlier episodes.
Yeah, we were like, we wanted to be at least an hour, and then we get to edit it, and we're like, man, we kind of just rambled for an hour and 15 minutes.
Too long, yeah. But all right.
Yeah, that's gonna do it for us, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the like button. Comment down below. Favorite thing we talked about today. If you're excited for the new season, we'd love to hear it. Any feedback for the new season, new ideas, we'd love to hear that as well. Last episode did really well. Everybody was really happy for Baker getting engaged, and so now we got 2 engaged guys, and then we'll have 1 married guy, and then an engaged guy, and then we'll have 2 married guys. So we're moving right along.
Yeah. Growing up.
Yeah. Finally.
All right. Until next time.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. See y'all.